Hello, I am Endlessness and welcome back to Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis, and in this video I wanted to give you a guide for the floor B90 in the sealed Tower of Cetra, and it has recommended 281,000 combat power. Eidos is weak to ice and specifically physical ice attacks, but keep in mind he'll often inflict darkness, which will render any physical DPS useless until you cure that status. Physical attacks are more effective but if you have a high overboosted magic ice weapon like Edged Wings for Sephiroth, it will still be viable, and since it's magic you won't have to worry about darkness. As for Eidos, he's immune to most statuses and he'll buff his physical attack, so you have to bring something to nullify that buff. You can also lower his physical defense, but I don't think it's needed since he will lower his own physical defense quite frequently. And also, Eidos doesn't have any sigil phases and his phases just keep rotating, so even if it takes you longer to kill him, it will be just the same phases repeating. Essentially, he'll keep doing Ice Sludge, which will inflict darkness and lower ice resistance, few physical fire attacks followed by Focus Strength, a single attack, and then occasionally he will summon allies with Materialize, and those allies will keep switching between ice and fire. He'll just keep doing those same moves until you kill him. I'll be using Cloud, Sephiroth and Matt, and my team has 271,000 power, and Cloud will be my DPS, Sephiroth will be DPS and debuffer, and Matt will be my healer. Matt has Gear Voucher outfit and I chose Gigantic Shield in his limit slot just in case if I happen to be in a situation where my physical shield has run out and I needed it instantly back. Alternatively, you could equip Vanquishing X to nullify Eidos' physical attack buff. I'm also using Centipede in main weapon slot and Sleek Beetle in secondary, but Sleek Beetle is just as a precaution. I can recommend equipping Bramble Spine to buff physical attack if you know you can nullify boss's physical attack in time. And in sub-equipment slots, I have equipped him with Guard Stick to increase heals and 4-point Shuriken for some HP and to extend that buff-debuff duration. Lastly, Matt has Isuna Darkness, which is crucial for the boss, and then I have equipped also Isuna Fog, mainly for the Soldier Thirds in second wave. I have Isuna Fog only because I'm using Sephiroth, who is magic DPS, but if you have two physical DPS you can use any materia as a stat stick. That Quakra is my stat stick to boost Matt's physical defense a little bit. So Matt has 9000 HP, 2.5 heals and 123 physical defense. Then I have Cloud with Ice Arcanum outfit and Ice DPS weapon, and I have put Hellfire in his limit slot and Sky Splitter for fire DPS, and that's mainly for the first waves of enemies before we get to the boss, while Hellfire will be to get rid of those two fire adds that will be summoned by the boss. In sub-equipment slots I have equipped Radiant Edge and Twinkling Star, but ideally you want to stock up that attack and ice potency as much as you can to deal more damage on the boss. As for materia, it's just a stat stick to boost Cloud's physical defense a little bit. So Cloud has 8.3 HP, 3.8 physical attack and 113 physical defense. Last I have Sephiroth, who has Ice Arcanum outfit and Shiva in his limit slots, as well as Edged Wings for Ice DPS. In secondary slot I have equipped Kuja to decrease boss's physical attack, but alternatively you could equip Northern Lights, and if you have it OB6 or higher it will be even a more efficient debuffing weapon for this battle. In sub-equipment slots I have both Power Soul and Protector's Blade to boost Sephiroth's HP and physical attack a little bit, and lastly that materia is also just a stat stick to boost his physical defense a little bit. So Sephiroth has 8000 HP, 3.8 magic attack and 126 physical defense. I have some equipment slots empty because I tried to lower my team's stats and power, but in those empty slots you can equip whatever you need to boost your attack and HP. And also don't forget about having some physical defense so you can survive bosses' physical attacks a little bit easier. Alternatively, you could equip Shiva and Bahamut with Mega Flare if you have a magic DPS character, but since Mega Flare charges twice as long, I personally find Hellfire and Diamondos a little bit better. As for other characters you could use, I think Tifa is an amazing ice DPS and she can debuff physical attacks, so you should be covered there. Ice Zac would also be a great option if you pulled on a banner. I think Yuffie could be an option too, since she can decrease ice resistance and debuff physical attack, but I'm not sure about Lucia. Yes, she has Bald Eagle, but then she doesn't have another good utility, so it doesn't seem like she's a good option, but I guess you could use Debrave Materia to decrease physical attack as well. As I mentioned earlier, even if you take a little bit longer to kill the boss, the phases will remain unchanged and they will just keep rotating. So I'm gonna switch to Mats and I will speed up those two phases, first two waves, because they don't really matter. We just have to kill those enemies and that's it. So I'm just gonna keep on healing and let the AI just kill them. But yeah, those two waves are actually nice because you can build up your limit bars and have it ready for the boss. But here we have those two soldiers, and that's why I have that Sky Splitter on Cloud, to get rid of them a little bit faster. But also here Plunge. If you can't kill those soldiers fast enough, when you see Plunge, switch to defense, because this attack, it hurts a lot. So you have to recover immediately after that. I just try to time my heal here. So yeah, that's the final boss of the current Tower of Cetra, and immediately have your ATB ready to decrease that physical attack just a little bit. It's not crucial here though, because Oil Sludge, it doesn't deal much damage to you, it just inflicts darkness. But if you can spare the ATB, why not? It'll be a little bit easier to recover for you. But here, after Oil Sludge, it's always those physical fire attacks, and always try to switch to defense, because they will hurt. And after this, Focus Strength is a single target physical attack, so he always also gets that 3 stacks physical attack buff, so you want to nullify it. You can just nullify the buff, you don't have to decrease it fully. You will still survive with that, but at least nullify that buff. Materialize, it's always ice first, and then when he summons another set of enemies, it'll be fire. So it's always ice first, and then it keeps rotating. But that's fine, you have your limit breaks ready just for that. See, it's another Materialize, and now it's those soldiers which are weak to fire, so Hellfire is just for that. And on the first summon, that Materialize, it's just officers, but on the second summon it'll be soldiers, so if you have enough fire DPS and good Hellfire, you might be able to kill them, but for me, I am not able to, but it will still take some time till he summons them again. And always remember, I think I forgot to mention, after Oil Sludge, always try to cure your physical DPS with Asuna so they can proceed to do damage. You can recover HP and buff your defense a little bit later, but darkness always takes priority for the physical DPS. And here it should be another single target attack, so nullify the buff. If you really want to, you could equip a cure materia, but for me that darkness Asuna is basically all I need, and it was fine. It's materialized again, so it's ice, and I'm almost close to having Shiva, so that should be fine. Ideally, sometimes they materialize a little bit slower, so you have your Shiva ready, sometimes not, so you just have to compensate for that and wait with 1 or 2 more attacks to get it. Darkness on Cloud, and I also cured Matt because I'm not sure, just in case, so he survives. There should be another attack. I'm just waiting because he's gonna do that focus strength, so I rather save ADB to be able to debuff that attack. But as I said, those phases, they don't change, so if you remember the rotations, it becomes very easy. So you just know what to do, where to save ADB to prepare for the next incoming attack. And yeah, it's those soldiers now. And yeah, they have a lot more HP than the officers, so personally I am not able to kill them. But we should be still fine. I'll try to kill them just with the Flare Star with AoE attack, but it won't do a lot of damage, I know that. Also, when you see boss doing the spin, if you're unsure if you can survive it, go to defense. But yeah, that should end the battle. But as I said, it's just the same rotations over and over again until you kill the boss. So yeah, that's basically the battle. And I hope that you found this guide helpful. I would say most you have to do is to remember the rotations, to get used to them, to be able to anticipate what's coming next. And then this battle becomes a lot easier. But yeah, Matt is obviously the best healer because he heals and buffs physical defense always. And yeah, I think I covered everything, gave you all the information pre-battle. So yeah, thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you next one.